When head coach DeSean Jackson was named as the new head football coach over the Delaware State football program, there was a lot of fanfare out there that met this decision with a lot of positive feedback. Because remember now, they saw Coach Deion Sanders do it over at Jackson State. And they figured, hey, he can come in this thing and do exactly the same thing, galvanize the athletes to come together, buy into the system, and move this thing forward. And you know what? Their Hornets fan base right now, they are so elated that they have this coach as their head coach. And they was able to witness something this past season that they haven't seen in a long time. But you know what? I think this is the best to come. I know y'all like, Coach, ain't nowhere in the world you just said that. Yes, I did. Because you know what? It's funny that we could very well see, and I'm just throwing this out here now. I mean, we haven't even played the Celebration Bowl yet. And I know it probably might offend a couple of people, but I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing thus far. And a lot of teams, they have the pieces put together to where they're able to get out there and compete. And everybody now is chomping at the bit to try to make something happen as far as getting themselves in position for them to right the ship for their team to be just as successful or even more successful and win their conference championship to go play in that Celebration Bowl. But you know what? We're going to talk about exactly how we got to this place, right? You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow League Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all the coming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos, and tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. There's no positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump on in this thing. Because they're like, Coach, what's your thoughts on all this? Talk to us. You sound like you got a lot on your mind over there. What's going on? You know, I got to sit, as I'm sitting here being thankful for my family, well-being, everything that's been going on. There's been a lot that has happened to your favorite coach over this past year. I'm not going to complain, moan and groan about none of it. I ain't going to kick the can down the road. We're just going to keep on moving forward. That's what we believe in over here. And that's something that the athletic director for Delaware State University, Senior Associate Vice President for Athletics and Wellness, Mr. Tony Tucker, when he announced that announced that Mr. DeSean Jackson was going to become the new head football coach over the Delaware State Hornets football team, you had to understand there was something that he saw in this young man. And with that being said, they looked at DeSean Jackson as a great fit because of his competitive nature. He's optimistic about the prospects and the collective of the future as far as the program itself. And he has this motto of students first. Now, when you look at students first, there's a lot of programs that, back in the past that they ain't really give a daggone about the student athletes because of the fact that they looked at the money that's coming into the program based on the wins and losses. A lot of folks don't understand that when you look at what a five-star athlete is really worth. They're worth like $675,000, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I believe it's more now because we got NIL in place. But the one thing that I liked about Coach Jackson is the fact that he emphasizes education, because he understands the fact that every player, every athlete that's going to come through his doors, they're not necessarily going to have the opportunity to become a professional player. And that's the reality of it. But sometimes athletes don't look at it from that standpoint. They get that, oh man, Coach, you hating, bro. Why you don't want to see me go be me, man? You don't want to see me be him. It's not that, son. It's not that. It's not that, young lady. It's not that, my little young queen. That's not it at all. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that sometimes the ability that a lot of athletes think that they have, they may not have. And not only that, but a lot of times, and more often than many, athletes don't love the sport as much as they should for them to get themselves to that place. And what I mean by that is the fact that when it comes time for you to have to get up in the morning to go do them 5 a.m. Workouts, whatever have you, no one should have to come beating on your door, tell you, hey, come on, man, come on, we gotta go. No one should have to drag you in there, or when you get there, it's like you're not mentally in it. You're not trying to put the work in. or you're putting the work in, but you have, half-hearted doing it. You get what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of that, a lot of times these kids come up short. They don't understand you got to put more into it than what you think you're getting back. But with all of that being said, Coach Jackson's student-first mentality, it showed on the field. Looking at what the athletes were able to do over this season compared to last season, I mean, think about it. Delaware State ranked like last in a lot of different categories, as far as the offense and defense last season. This season, they ranking like up around second, first, second, and third. That's where they're ranked at. And don't get me wrong. I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, hey, coach, there's only 6 teams in the conference. Listen, dude, I don't give a damn if it was 3 daggone teams in the league in the conference. The bottom line is looking at the growth of the program. That's something that you have to see. Last season, if I'm not mistaken, they was averaging 17 points per game. This season, 31. Coach Jackson and their coach staff came in there daggone almost double that. So you have to take that into consideration as far as looking at what they were able to accomplish. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes coaches come in, they have a plan. But when you're sitting there and start looking at the plan, formulating no matter what you thought things were going to come together, they fall a little short because a lot of those pieces that you thought you may possibly have there, you don't really have. And now that everybody's going to get athletes out of the transfer portal, or better yet, they even the kids that you recruiting from high school bringing in, they're hit or miss. So looking at what they were able to do in the first year, where they were able to come in and get these athletes to buy into the system as far as what he was putting down, all of them jokers over there at Delaware State, the football players, they picked it up. They picked it up and they ran with it. And Got to give DeSean Jackson as well as his Hornets coaching staff. You got to give them their props as well, because like I said before, for you to take the team from last to second, first or second in statistical categories in one season, man, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. That means the message that you conveyed to your players, they accepted that and they ran with it. Like I stated before, rushing, they led FCS in rushing #1. They were #1 in yards allowed by the defense. They was holding folks up. They're like, look, man, they wouldn't let a lot of folks do a whole lot of different things to them on defense. You got to give them their props on that. They was #1 in that in the MEAC. Now, Coach Jackson and his coaching staff, like I said, they was close to matching that winning record that they have. Was it 10-2? Even if they had beat South Carolina State, I think they might have missed it by 1 game. But looking at how everything went on, even in that South Carolina State game against Coach Berry and his South Carolina State Bulldogs that they lost 28-17, turnovers was key. Turnovers in the game was key. I mean, South Carolina State University was able to force them into making mistakes at the wrong times in the game. But yet and still they continue to fight. They didn't hang their head. They continue to fight as if they still had an opportunity to win the game. And that's what you want to see. When you see your athletes out there fighting, when they could have went ahead and packed it in and say, hey, you know what, we don't have a chance to win this thing, that's when you know you got something going on there. But like I stated, watching the Hornets play this season, they played with a purpose. They knew they were going to win games. I mean, think about it. If you sat and watched a lot of the games that they played in, they knew they were going to win the game, especially them teams that they played out of conference. I mean, they lost that. Listen, looking at the game, take you back. The game that they played against Sacred Heart, they lost that game. They were up 31-20 at the half. They ended up losing that game 35-31 because they thought because they was up at the half 31-20, they thought, hey, you know what, we can hold them. They're not going to score no more points. But the problem was the offense didn't come out there and execute. Defense had a couple slip-ups here and there that was costly. But they came back to win, the next 6 out of 8? And they were on the cusp, or had they beat South Carolina State, they will be going to the Celebration Bowl to go play against whoever comes out the SWAC. And coach was able to do this all in one season. All in one season. So like I stated before, I say all of this because of the fact as we get closer to signing day and the transfer portal opening up, I know Coach Jackson, I can only imagine what Coach Jackson and his coaching staff is going to look to do as far as we're getting the athletes into the program, because a lot of the athletes are going to come knocking on their door. Why? Because they see the value in what they're doing over there at Delaware State. So Trust. Hey, this is another program as well that we're going to see excel come next season. They're not going to sit back on their laurels and say, hey, you know what? Hey, we had a great season this year. We can pack it all in and we good to go. No, they're coming out there to get after this thing next season. Coach Jackson and his coaching staff, I honestly believe they got a system in mind. They got a plan in mind as far as the athletes that they're looking to bring in. They're going to get after them athletes and they're going to make this thing shake. And the MEAC going to be sitting there looking like, wait a minute, we let little brother come in here and get after us. Now they big brother, and now they being played like little brother. So now they got to figure out exactly what they're going to do to try to move this thing in the manner which they need to try to get back on top and make Delaware State back little brother again, which I don't think that's going to happen. I want to let Coach DeSean Jackson and the coaching staff over at Delaware State University know how appreciated we are for what they were able to present to us as far as a byproduct of their coaching abilities to get the athletes out there prepared week in and week out to compete against the different teams that they played against and put on the show. And put on the show. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead, get up on out this thing. I'm going to leave y'all, but hey, like I said before, I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there in the atmosphere because, again, it's a lot that's happening right now. And now that transfer portal and the signing days and all that stuff getting change up, and we're getting close to see exactly how everything gonna go, hey, it's gonna be mass confusion. So I figured we go ahead and just start kicking this thing off right now and get to talking about it. But you know what? The favorite coach gonna go ahead and get up on out this thing. But until next time, be the one in lead.